relaxed and are energized for this lovely summer session. So just to repeat a bit about the Alumni Career Days, what we're trying to do here today. So this is the last day of the Alumni Career Days for this year. And what we're trying to do, as I said, is to make career advice, create networking opportunities for you, and also bring alumni back on campus to share their expertise. And that's what we're doing here today with Ornela, who's going to talk to us a bit about Agile Leadership. And her position is an Agile coach at Unilever, so she has all the expertise and the background to talk about this session. So without further ado, I'll just really,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bruno. Thanks everyone for giving your input. It's anyone's field, right? I think it's okay that it takes in the board. Just a quick introduction about myself. So I studied this same place, university, and I did first National Business Administration and a Master's Stakeholder Management, which I believe now is called differently. No, it's sustainability something.
Yeah, global business sustainability.
Thanks. It's very long ago, so that's a little bit of what I am. But I like to see my career, my life, like as a journey, really. And every career step, I try to get the skills I actually need in my backpack to go to my journey. So when I finished my studies, I studied a small organization, trying to help organizations to become more sustainable. And very quickly, I noticed I actually need to go to the working field and get more experience. So because I was so much in sustainability, and back then our CEO was Paul Pullman, which was all about sustainability. I started Unilever, first in supply chain, then finance, and then I started noticing I need to know more about innovation. So I became an innovation manager. I didn't start building all the skills I need in my backpack. When at some point I noticed, okay, this is really nice, but we are all the time facing lots of blockers because of our organization. So I started learning a little bit more about change management, and that's how I got into Agile and became an Agile coach, first for Benelux, so focusing mainly on teams, team dynamics, and Scrum, implementing Agile. Till I noticed, okay, now we are facing a little bit of a challenge a bit higher up in the organization. So I needed to get something else. And I became an Agile enterprise coach. So I started coaching, actually going for more organizational transformation instead of only focusing on teams, focusing mainly on leaders. So I was doing a lot of Agile leadership for the higher leaders in Unilever, for nutrition specifically, but global-wise. So I traveled different countries talking about Agile leadership, coaching one-on-one senior leaders, and also working a lot on psychological safety, because there's no Agile without psychological safety and trust, and I will tell you a little bit why. And today actually is my last day at Unilever, so I just landed in my computer when I came here. So actually I don't have a laptop. I was telling you, I hope you have. I don't have a laptop. So I'm happy that this is fixed. I was sending via email, so let's hope for the best. Yeah. So today is my last day at Unilever, and I'm jumping to start on my own. I didn't really work it out exactly how it would be, but the idea I want to continue really helping people go through this transition, helping coaching leaders, and a lot of focus on psychological safety and how to help people to get to another place. But first, I'm gonna go tomorrow on another kind of trip, so 160 kilometers. Have you done it?
I've seen your email.
I
was thinking, where did I see the name? Because we've connected, but I see the email.
Yeah. No, we are. So I'm gonna be walking the West Highlands of 160 kilometers. So with a backpack, with the wild camping, so taking everything I need on my back. So very heavy backpack. But again, I think it's a good transition from this corporate world. I need some mental space and also some physical pain, probably. I'm feeling this resilience to go ahead. So it would be the perfect for me. Very perfect way to go from one thing to the other. But that's about me. Now about you. So thank you for filling it. I have prepared a presentation and a workshop for you. However, for me, it's very important to know what you expect, because if I would be saying things that you're not interested in hearing, this waste of your time and mine as well. I'm happy to hear that a lot of these posts are about things that I'm expecting to cover. So that's great. A lot about agile leadership, so how to become an agile leader, what are challenges. See a lot about also what is agile, how to be a better leader, managing up. I thought that was very interesting. Gonna see if I get to cover it. And then some others which I thought I don't think I will really be covering. So I want to be honest and transparent. So there's one on how to negotiate for career opportunities. I will not cover that. Always open to have a conversation one-on-one. How to advocate for myself in a dynamic environment. I don't think will be directly covered. However, if you see any opportunity to get a topic in, please let me know. How to adjust to different working environments while maintaining your own professionality. I also don't think it will be directly covered. How to read the science on the environment's nearly needs for different leadership styles. Maybe on the edge, but not really. Information outside the comfort zone, and how does agility fit with predefined strategies, vision, KPIs? Because I will be so much more focused on agile leadership. I'm not sure if I will directly touch it, but I will try to fit it in because I think it's relevant. So sorry for that. I'm all for big people. Always open to have a conversation outside. We have a 1.5 hours, but then we can continue when I'm back for my trip. We saw muscles. Okay so far? Yes? Cool. So agenda, my proposal is very high level what Agile is, because I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with the word Agile. So before we get into Agile Leadership, just rewinding. Agile Leadership, we're gonna do a game, and then give you some personal time to think, to reflect, and have self-commitment. Idea is that we finish at 5:10. For me to finish 5 minutes before. I'm not really good at time management, so I will do my best. Maybe I need some help here and there. So Agile. I divided into the doing Agile and the being Agile. And it's really like an iceberg. So probably, I don't know if anyone heard of the word Scrum. Yeah, right? You know Scrum or Kanban board, the one to do, doing and done. Anyone heard that? Yeah, or stand up. But the concept, okay, these are all things of doing Agile. So Kanban board is simply a board where you just show what are you doing, what is pending to do, right? It's a way to visualize the work coming. Or a stand-up is actually a session where you're all together 15 minutes to decide what are we going to do. It's an alignment session. The thing is that just because I bring you to this room, a Kanban board, and I paste it here, you're not going to be more agile just because you have a Kanban board. You're also not going to be more agile because I put I set up a meeting in your calendar is called stand-up. Those are the ways doing Agile. But the most important thing and the most difficult and the hardest way is really being Agile. And these are really the values, right? So the Kanban board is there to bring visibility. If we are all not open to share what we are doing and to be transparent about what we don't know and what are our blockers, because we are not into that type of environment, and we come on board with we just empty or be with fluffy things, right? Because we are scared or defensive or whatever. So we're gonna go into this part. We're not gonna go into the practices, okay? So Agile leadership is actually about how are you a leader? So it's about the behaviors, about your values, okay? The rest, I promise you, this is quite easy. The practice applies to them. I mean, just it's a very straightforward tools to use. There are 4 main values of Agile, and if there's one very important thing to remember, these are the four values. It says that individuals and interactions are more important. Again, more important doesn't mean that the ones on the left are not important, but these are more important. So individuals and interactions are more important than process and tools. How often have you been in a situation in which you have to do something You know that your colleague next to you can help you out. However, you are supposed to send an email to your manager. Your manager needs to ask for approval to the director. Then the director needs to send it to finance. Then they have to put it in the system. This whole process. While you know, but if I walk to my colleague, we can get it done. So Agile says, just walk to your colleague and get it done. Don't create processes or tooling when it's not necessary. Okay, be pragmatic. The second one is about the working, and forget software, say products. Okay, so it is working products versus comprehensive documentation. So instead of trying to capture what are all the things that you have to be doing with all the details, just create something, give it to your customer to test it, right? Try it out, get the feedback, adjust it, and then give it again, and then go through this cycle till your customer is completely convinced. Typical example, I don't know if you heard of the car. I don't know if you heard of example. Typical example is, get a customer that comes to me like, hey, Ornela, you have this automotive company. I need you to be on your car. So then I go, okay, perfect. Which color? How big the motor? I have no idea about cars, but you have all the relevant questions about the cars. And you write down all those details, right? And you end up with such a documentation. I spend 2 years building a car. Then I give it to my customer and say, hey, here you have your car. And the customer's like, oh, great, but you know what? Actually, I don't need a car anymore because it's Corona. I don't go to the office anymore. And actually, that red looks horrible. I'd rather have blue. It's much nicer. It used to be my favorite color, but not anymore. So I actually gave you something which you don't like and you don't actually need for a lot of money, and you have to wait 2 years. The agile version will say, you know what? Oh, you need a car? No, actually, what you need is to go from A to B. You need a transport. So we'll first give you a skateboard, and then you go with your skate. Oh, okay, nice. But you know what? I just cannot steer well, so I keep bumping into cars. Okay, now thank you for your feedback. I give you a step, Oh, okay, nice. You started trying out. Okay, this is much better, but I need to take my kids to school as well. Okay, now with a step you cannot, there's no space. I give you a bike, then you're biking, here you can take your kids behind. Oh, this is much better, but it's way too slow. I make it electric, and you're happy with electric bike. So I saved you money, etc. So again, it's about working products, give it, test it, give me your feedback, I adjust, versus having comprehensive documentation. It's about customer collaboration versus contract negotiation. Every people in sales, every time I say this, they start jumping like, Ornela, what are you saying? We have to negotiate. I get it. We have to negotiate contract. Totally right. However, it's about how do we build that collaboration, that conversation with customers, instead of only being on this contract negotiation mindset. And it's about responding to change instead of just blindly following up a plan. Yeah, but we agreed on this, then you gave me the signature. Okay, but situations different. I don't know. We agree on this. This is what I'm going to build because this is what we signed for. So it's about acknowledging that there is change. So we get the feedback and we change. Any questions about this? Okay, so these are the values.
Well, it just reminds me that it seems like it's actually approval and apology. Those two dynamics. It was that you can circumvent certain things, and you can better approval takes too long and apology is quicker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better to be sorry. What was I asked for? I'm sorry. That one.
Yeah.
And I will forgive me than approval. Exactly. Well, it's kind of like that, right? So be pragmatic. What gets us where we have to be quickest, always with the customer at the center. So it's about customer satisfaction and creating value for the customer. But yeah, very good association. Very good. Now, help me on this. Let's try to imagine something, okay? You can close your eyes, keep your eyes open, doesn't matter. So imagine you're a leader of a team. your team just gets a call from the customer and is saying, look, you're giving me this mobile application. I'm really unsatisfied with this product you're building. I believe it's overpriced. I believe that it's not giving me the functionalities I have, and I'm humbly unsatisfied, and I need a change right now because it sucks. That's the call the customer gives to your team. Your team is in shock. Okay, what are we gonna do? They get all together, they start gathering all information, discussing, they prepare this beautiful PowerPoint, they review it, they update the PowerPoint, because we show it to you, it needs to be perfect, it needs to be clear. We need to show that we did everything right, that it wasn't our fault, that we were there. So they spent 2 weeks building this PowerPoint. And after 2 weeks, they try to make an appointment with you. They look on your calendar, your calendar is so full, so it takes 2 weeks longer. So 4 weeks after, they make a meeting of 2 hours meeting with 120 slides, showing you all the steps they have done and how they thought they were doing the best, arguing how they are such a good team and they did the best. And after those 2 hours, they ask you, what should we do? You are the leader. You're understanding that this is 4 weeks ago that your best customer is waiting for this answer. How does that feel? Any adjectives or descriptions? How would you feel? How do you feel?
Not great.
All right.
No.
Now let's imagine something else. The customer goes to your team and they say, accept the same stuff. Your app is not doing what I want, I'm disappointed, functionality, The team gets together, oh shit, we have a problem, we have to do something about it. They start discussing, what can we do, And they say, maybe, this functionality is true, this is not working right. We should change this functionality because this is suboptimal. Yeah, we need to change it. However, what's the problem? Yeah, we need this other team to develop that functionality. So they get together, they make that agreement, we should test it, we should try what happens with that. They give you a call, we need you right now, there's something going on. You come and they say, you know what, we build this app, we build this functionality, which we thought was great, but it isn't. And this is not going right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna upgrade this functionality because this is what is most important to our customer. However, to do this, we need the development team to upgrade this, and they're not doing it because there's low in the priority list. We need your help. Can you please go to this team and help us getting that higher in their priority list? That's what we need from you. How does that fit for you?
Much better.
What are the differences?
One works on a solution, the other works on defending, or it's defensive.
Well, removing roadblocks, basically. The second one.
They are clear to you, right? This is what I need from you. Please remove the block. They're coming with a solution, right? They don't need to defend themselves. They are not to be scared. And the leader is there to remove that block. They are not there to judge if the team is good or not good. They are just there to help. So that is exactly what means being an agile leadership. Being an agile leader. So it means turning around this pyramid. So what you see is that the traditional type of leadership is really top down. So you need the leader to make decisions, to come and say how things should be done. However, what we are saying is let's turn it around. Empower the team to make the decisions. Empower the team because they are the ones who are close to the work, right? They are the ones who know best. However, you as a leader are there to do two important things. One is to bring the vision. So where are we going? This is our vision. Set the priorities. And number two, unlock any type of blockers your team will have. Remember, you have the experience, you have the network, so you are the servant to your team. You are there to serve the team so they can do what they can do best, and that is get the job done. Okay? It sounds very clear, maybe very straightforward in many cases. However, the reality is that this is very difficult to achieve. Why is it difficult to achieve? What I have seen, at least in my conversation with leaders, is that those leaders are there very often because they got successful, they got in the role they are working in this way. So they got successful in that because they work in an organization that was this way, and this is what they know how to do. And this is what they made it so great. But now we are asking them, oh no, that was great, but now we need you to be totally different. So this switch is very hard. This is the biggest challenge we are facing. Yeah, please.
Well, I work in supply chain, but for example, Lidl, it's for me the most difficult customer because they know they reply only 2 weeks before if they want, for example, 20,000 volumes. For me as supply chain, we cannot react on that one. So at one moment I said to my manager, I want to be flexible, but we have to teach the client to say no. If they want to have the 20,000 SKUs, they should put it just like other big clients 6 weeks beforehand. 2 weeks, we have done it several times, but this time it's a no.
Exactly.
But then it's not agile anymore.
Well, it's not agile, but it is, because at the end you are being clear to, okay, this is what we need from you. This is the way we need from you. So it's also that transparency instead of trying to adjust to things while you see, okay, this is not working, right? Or just letting it fail. Because at the end, the fact is that at the end, you're not going to manage because 2 weeks is too little. So that's the problem, right? So the agile mentality there is that you said, okay, there is a problem, I speak up. This is my problem. You go to your manager. I need you to help in this escalation, saying no, and you figure it out. The non-agile would be you anyway not gonna make it because 2 weeks is not doable, and you're gonna make it fail without coming to with the problem.
Within Unilever, they always find a solution, but it has also how to say, we give it to Lidl, but it has consequences for other customers. And at one moment I said, no, this is not the efficient way of working. Yeah.
There, from a manager perspective, I would say then what is important is to sit together and define, okay, what are the priorities? Is a priority to make Lidl happy under these conditions, or is a priority to, so be clear and straightforward on what are the priorities, what's our vision as a team.
Yeah.
And once you have the priorities, then you can continue. But also sitting together with Lidl and explaining, this is the problem I'm having.
They always say, this is the way how we work. But we're gonna try it, they say always.
Actually, what you mentioned, that why leaders are, struggling to let go of this first way of doing things, it reminded me the elective I had during the MBA, Leadership Pipeline, and there's a book out there on Amazon, about it, and it actually explains very clearly why people struggle to transition, because they were very effective as individual specialists, they got promoted, and they are not ready for this new challenge, and they are stressed, and they fall back to what they were effective in, being specialists. And this example that you gave, 4 weeks after they come to you and ask, what should we do? Basically, they are asking you to do your previous job, not being a leader, but being one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
While in the second scenario, they are asking you to provide something that is really exclusive to you as a leader. As a leader, you have this, actually authority, by the way, this muscle power to let this happen.
Yep.
Rather than do their job for them.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. Exactly. That's very nice how you bring it. That there are different types of leadership style. One is that when you're a leader as an expert, and that what happens very often, right? How often we see leaders that became leaders because they were the best in their team doing that actual job, and because they were the best, they were promoted as leaders. While at the end, they have quite different type of skills, right? Mm-hmm. To be an expert on a specific task than to being the right person and making decisions, on letting go, on empowering, on motivating, and building trust. There's such a different type of skill sets you need.
Yeah, and
coaching is the main thing to be that type of leader. You're coaching people to make decisions on their own. It's not easy to feel.
And that book I referred to, Leadership Pipeline, and that elective it was about, it actually explains all these things, all these transitions through different levels of leadership in many details, and actually it answered many questions I had during my career. Why are these people behaving like they do?
Yeah. Thanks. And it's the biggest challenge, I got that. So it's about two things: alignment and autonomy. Okay, being an agile leadership is also about high alignment and high autonomy. So how does it look like? When we're in an environment where the alignment is high and an autonomy is low, so the leader would say, "Hello, team. We need to cross the river. So I ask you all, please go and build a bridge." It's clear, right? You go and all build a bridge. So it's an authoritative organization, and everyone just follows the, the commands of the manager. When you have a low alignment, low autonomy, then this is micromanagement type of organization. So no one is really aligned. No one really knows what we're working for. So what is really the objective here? And no one is really working on their own. So it's always this leader that is controlling them, looking exactly what they are doing and how they are doing it. This micromanagement type of leader. Then we have this low alignment and high autonomy. This is more like entrepreneurial type of organization, creative, when maybe there's not a specific goal we are all working towards. However, everyone is doing their own thing, right? And trying to strive from that way. What we're looking for is this. So we want a leader that says, the vision is clear. I come here and I listen to my stakeholder, I listen to my customer, I listen to my stakeholders, and I understand that they need to cross the river. So the vision is really clear. So team, please understand that the vision is this is what we needed. We need to cross the river. Now, how are we going to cross the river? That's up to you. You know how to cross the river the best. You are the expert. Now you figure it out. Are we going to cross we're going to build a bridge? Are we going to swim? Maybe a tunnel? A boat? I don't know. I don't care. You figure it out. You are the expert. I just tell you, we need to cross the river. What do you need from me? That's it. Okay? Do you see the difference? Make sense?
Can you explain a bit again the right side and top?
This one?
And the below.
Yeah. So this is more like an entrepreneurial organization, a bit chaotic. So, an environment where everyone is working on their own type of thing.
Very like big organizations working in silo is always in it that way.
Everyone is working silent here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the difference here is that people are making decisions and doing their own thing the way they want, while here they don't have autonomy. So they are not making decisions their own. So someone is telling them exactly what to do, but there's no cohesion together. They're not together working towards something. But like in silos.
Well, crossing the bridge, if my manager, my new management style, he said, indeed, the way of a problem, you figure it out yourself. How can I help you? For me, it feels like, so I need to do the double work and you get paid double. So no, I said no, but like, how are we? So I'm returning it. I said, how are we crossing the bridge? You give me the draft and I can brainstorm what kind of bridge I would design. But it's not that I want to figure it out myself. He's the expert, or he got hired, so help me to build that perfect bridge.
The difference in mindset here is that the manager is not seen as the expert. The manager is seen someone who has a network, who has experience. However, you are the one who is closest to the customer, because you are the one who does the work every single day, so you are the expert. They are not the expert. The manager is the one who is in more strategic type of meetings. So your manager knows this is the direction we are going. However, the one who is every single day doing the job, that's it. You know. They don't know.
They don't.
In meetings, and that's the right thing that they should be doing. They should be bothering with the direction where we're going. They should be clear to you. So when you have a question where we're going, they should give you clarity, or at least give you an idea of which priorities you should take. When you have too much work, they should tell you, this is more important than this, because I know what we are talking in those meetings. And to get there are 6 behaviors.
I want to add some.
Please.
Yes, I believe that when you say to the manager, I want to build a bridge, then it might not be the best solution, because the manager tells you, let's say that, hey, we need to build a bridge. And you say, are you sure? Like, okay, I will build it. But then at the end of the day, you come out with another solutions and other ideas and you say, okay, this is not really the best solution. But then the manager who gave it to you, this solution, at the end of the day is your boss. So you need to follow him. But then it might have been better to, I don't know, to build or talk with a shipbuilding company. I don't know. So you come up, I think it's better for organization to just have these separate roles where the manager just tells you, okay, this is a problem, and you come up with 3 different solutions. And then the manager at the end, okay, you have these 3 solutions, and then what are the pros, the cons, what's the cost, what's the time, what's the budget, etc. And then at the end of the day, the manager will give you the best solution. But it's just up to you, because it will eliminate your creativity, I think, as well.
In this is probably an example. If manager will insist that you build a bridge, maybe you know this place better, and maybe it's very difficult to build something there, and you probably should indeed make a boat, or probably there's a lot of boats coming there, and bridge will prevent them from going. So you are closer to the field, to the customer, and you might find why this specific solution is not the best, but at least you now know we need to cross the river, so we need to find something other than bridge, a tunnel.
Then I would think, like, for me, I would say, why do we need the manager? Actually, we don't need him. You can go directly to me and tell me, build a bridge. I build a bridge. I don't need a manager.
No, but I think we have to look from a different perspective. So if the managing team has this dynamic themselves in creating a solution, each manager or a department leader will come to their team and try to solve his goal with their own creativity. And that way the chain goes forward. It doesn't work if only one team works agile, but if each team in every level of the organization is practicing this. So I think scoping is really important, because otherwise we might get caught up in things that we cannot think about everything, but we need to think within our scope, our lines, what's the vision we have to solve? Because someone thought, what is it better? A tunnel, a boat, a bridge. And in that level, they thought about those details, about budget, about market, about shares, you know? So if we try to keep a direction within our scope, I think it saves a lot of headache, you know?
So why you need a manager? So what you say, you need them to think that we need to cross the river. So you need a manager to set up the strategy, to set up the vision, to set up the whole strategy for the whole organization. So they are there to set up that part, and the team is there to get the work done.
I will just refer back to this book, Leadership Pipeline. They have this example. There's the director, manager of managers, and they have 10 managers in their team. Each of these managers has 10 individual contributors in their team. So there's, under this director, 110 people. This person has 8 hours in their day.
Exactly.
If they start defining all the things for every of these 110 people, it will be spending 30 seconds per person per day. Instead, they basically come in to develop it generally as a structure, one thing. Another thing, amplifying where you don't have power and authority to make things happen. So you defined, okay, tunnel, but as in your example, they are not giving us the digging machine, the boring machine, sorry. Okay, that's where the director comes in. I can get this boring machine for you. So, and that's why they step in and improve it for the entire team.
That plus building an environment so you can get such a team, because you don't just get such a team to make decisions. So you need to behave a certain way as a leader in order to have a team that is autonomous, that makes decisions, that speaks up. So all those things, that's also part of your job. And how do you do it? These are the 6 behaviors that you see as an agile leader. So an agile leader is outcome oriented, okay? So it means that values data over opinions, goes to the customers, goes outside to get information. An agile leader has a bias for action. So They get things done, they get started with things, they complete things, they test them, they improve it, and they go again, okay? It's buy for action. Instead of just gathering all information and then waiting. Let's just go and they get things done. They look for alignment and empowerment, what we are saying about the teams, empower them to get things started, to make decisions their own. It's also about always helping, so they are there to help the team to get things done. So they go to where the work is done. They're not in this isolation in this room only on themselves. They walk on the working floor. They have a look. They have a chat. They have interactions. They are exactly when they are needed. They are not in the meeting rooms outside of the work. They are where they are needed. They look for one team, so they prioritize the overall company instead of just themselves. And they also look for this continuous learning. So that means that also the attitudes towards failure and risk is also important. Means that they are open to failure, because without failure, there's no learning. Without failure, there's no risk taking. So a typical agile leader would also share with their team which things they have done wrong, which things they have done and didn't go as expected, and what they learned from them. So that's why I was saying psychological safety is key. Because if the environment is not safe, no one is gonna come up and say like, hey, I have a question. Hey, I don't know how to do this. Hey, I made a mistake. So you will not be able to get people make decisions for their own, because they will be scared of retaliation, of getting things wrong, or the same with continuous learning. They will not test things and see how they go, because, well, if it goes wrong, imagine. So that's what I was saying, psychological safety is like a underlying prerequisite what we think. So these are the 6 behaviors. Looking at the time, we are just good on time because we're going to do a game. And the game is the follow. We're going to try to see how it feels and how it sounds to have these behaviors, okay? Before doing that, because 6 are too much and we don't have enough time, I will ask you to prioritize which 3, try to understand which 3 are the most important to you to see in practice. Okay, so what we're gonna do is discuss the behavior, which type of words they say, what don't they say, etc. But we don't have much for so many. So we'll ask you to come in the front and paste one sticker, which I have here, on the one behavior of the 6 behaviors that you want to learn more about. Okay, so come to the front, here are the stickers, paste a sticker, which of these, and then one. No, the one with the most stickers and 3 with one.
Normally always upside.
Online.
Mentimeter.
Ja,
yeah. Menti.
If you want to use a marker or a pen. Yeah. Someone wants to use markers, so not to wait. It's a us.
But a big time.
One thing that I have
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, the one. The one. So it's based on a random color. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know where you.
No, there. You know, yes, yeah, one of all books. Oh, not even.
And
Well, they were not supposed to do it like time in college, like during. What do you mean? I mean, usually they use Nancy or something. Oh yeah, I mean, they did a little fast, always like this. Something.
Such a joy for a job.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Everybody, here's the QR code.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nah.
Wait. Started on for me.
I
Can directly see the outcome.
I was doing resource management, which is actually
Yeah, that's true.
operations planning, but a big internal business transformation, so I'm not trying to find myself and change when it survive.
Yes.
Yeah, did you graduate?
Okay, so it's a clear winner. So we have these three. So it's outcome oriented.
So I
There's outcome oriented, bias towards action, and alignment and empowerment. By the way, just as I try to show you some agile techniques. So if you have seen when you started, we posted, and now we are writing with dots and voting. These are ways that you can also bring that to your working floor, whatever environment you are, that help you make sure that you have all voices heard. So if I would have asked you at the beginning, what do you want to get out of here? Probably the people who were feeling most confident or more comfortable or have much more clear in their mind will have just said one thing, and others maybe will have followed that same train. However, if you give people the time to first think and then write and then give you the feedback, you are much more open for diverse in type of personality, the more the outspoken, less, but also people who are much more analytical, who first need to think before speaking. So these are very useful techniques when you are working as a leader in team dynamics. So recommend to get that, try that out. But okay, so we make a decision very quickly. So when people say decision making is very complex, can also be very straightforward. So we make a decision. We have three behaviors. We're going to do the following. This space is a bit tricky for this exercise. So bear with me. Normally we will have like a space to make a circle. So we're going to do the fishbowl exercise. Anyone has done it before? You know what it is? No? Okay, so the idea of the fishbowl exercise, that we first start with a group of 6 people in the middle, make a round, and those 6 people will start having a conversation. We will start with the behavior, so I will prompt you with some questions, and only these 6 people talk. The rest, we're gonna come around, so we'll like a semicircle around these 6 people, and whenever the outside circle feels like, hey, there's something I wanna say about that, then you come in, and someone from the in circle voluntarily needs to step out. Okay, so now the conversation keeps flowing with those 6 people who are in the middle. So in this way, we make sure that everyone feels the space to participate in the conversation, and the conversation is centered in one group. Okay, so everyone get out. Let's start with the pot break. First, come here. First, 6 people randomly. 6 people. You wanna step in the middle? Yes. More. So are you the inner or the outer circle?
Whatever you want.
They're the inner.
You're okay. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be 5. 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you chose inner.
Yes.
Okay. I can't. So
somebody comes.
for the rest, Phil, we're gonna start a conversation. Whenever you say, hey, they're saying something interesting, I wanna add something, feel free to jump in. And you, whenever someone is coming in, anyone from you voluntarily just steps out and creates a space for the new person to talk, okay? We're gonna do 10 minutes per behavior, and I will prompt you with some questions on it for alarm. Where's your block when you need it? So we're gonna do 10 minutes per behavior, and then we're gonna, when we change, the inner circle colleagues and the new inner circle comes. Okay, so let's start with the first one. If you want to read it for yourself, outcome oriented. And let me first ask you, what do you think that it means? Outcome oriented. Yeah, what does it mean to be an outcome oriented leader? Numbers.
Yeah.
You really focus on the deliverables, and
Just okay.
you need to really set the deadline, also deliver on time within the budget, within the expectations, high standards, and very good quality.
The only is how does a leader which is not outcome oriented? How does it feel? What do they say? A leader is not outcome oriented. Think of your experience. What do they say?
I think they don't provide you any type of vision. They are not sure about where are we going. They don't come up to you with the right output that you need, and they don't really help you at all. Yes.
Maybe it's a bit more anecdotal, like
Yes, please.
evidence. So yeah, I heard from someone that this is a nice project. Yeah, but then you actually perhaps actually have asked the participants, like sent the survey, but this one person thought it was nice. So then you're like, yeah, it must be nice then. I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Instead of outcome, they might be oriented on the process. And they wouldn't see this experience as a result-driven experience, more as a learning opportunity, maybe for the team. And yeah, they would consider that part positive.
Oh, nice.
And regarding point two, when you talk to customers, I had the impression, based on my experience in the previous companies, that actually that you would sometimes you just jump on some customer request without questioning if it's going to have an impact on other, well, some things that you could actually also impact other customers, but you just go, oh yeah, it's a big customer, so we're just going to do it without thinking through. And you think, yeah, it's you have to be open, obviously, that because that's an opportunity that can be a big opportunity, but that can also block you for the rest.
Oh, like that could be short time, opportunistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Behavior.
And then actually at the end, sometimes it doesn't even work because they say, yeah, as you pointed out, oh yeah, but by the way, now we don't need it.
I think the word anecdotal was actually the key one, because you need to talk to their customer, you need to understand what they want, but only if you do it constantly, you build some kind of picture, a wholesome picture of what they want and what for they want it. And then you don't jumble these small ideas, because that's what you do when you do it anecdotally. Just, okay, today I'm in the mood, I will talk to the customer, and then you get this glimpse of an idea. But when you do it constantly, all these small details, they start becoming a bigger picture, and then you follow it constantly.
Yeah. Yes, I want to add something regarding data. Since I'm a technical lead, I think it's important before taking up any conclusion or results, it's important to gather information from the input and output data. Can be requirement specifications, what's the impact, how's the standards, and then you can really conclude and come up with a practical and feasible solution that aligns with the company principle, values, and vision, mission, etc.
No?
Yes.
Some business decisions are taken considering too much the emotion or the security of the employees or the team, and not actually the benefits of the whole organization.
That's nice. And what is the impact? So what is the impact of having a leader that is focused on the outside, on the data, or versus one that is just focused on this anecdotal way of thinking, or only on emotions? What is the impact one versus to the other on an employee?
I think it's a high impact. It's really a high impact to get to know, like be very pragmatic, like very rational. And also, you need to take into account the impact on people's lives, because at the end of the day, you will make some decisions, you will come up with ideas or etc., and people will help you and will do anything what they can to provide the best results. And at the end of the day, you need to really be aware of, okay, this is what the company needs, but my people can just provide me this because it's just inside their capabilities and qualifications. And you need to be also very, not pragmatic, but also very, what's the word? Because it's really good to be ambitious, like as a leader, as a manager, or directors, they're very ambitious, but it's important to be realistic as well. Very, practical. Okay, this is what we need, and This is all by team Williamshire, and yes.
I think also when you are processing an incident on the floor, you fall into a sense of false security. Well, we are following the process, we will be fine. And then something happens and you are caught off guard because, I mean, we did everything right. When you follow the outcome, well, there will be failures, but at least you are aligned with the customer and customer can see, okay, it's our failure and we are still somewhat relevant, even if we made some mistake on the way.
So what are we're basing on this input we got from the customer, what we have seen outside. Now,
I want to add also that when I'm a leader, tends to go into the details and then figure out, trying to specify things within the project rather than staying a little bit at higher level. It tends to also create a bias in the others. It's a little bit what the Amazon way of working. First, let the other talk and express whatever the project is about, what they want to carry on, and then let the leader at the very end express themselves. Otherwise, it creates bias in the others. And it tends also to create a problem of trust in the competency of the rest of the team. Because you tend to always come up with your own solution into the details.
Yeah.
Let the team solve the details, and you focus on the outcome. On the outcome.
I think outcome-oriented approach might also sometimes not work in a situation such as in a sales team. If you focus on hitting the targets all the time, that would negatively affect your team because the process might be the main issue that you should be working on. And most of the sales teams put the pressure outcomes as a number, but not as a healthy, creating a healthy process for sustainable business development. So
I want to elaborate on that one. I think within Unilever, they suddenly announced, for example, Ben & Jerry's is not valuable. We according to the outcome, it's not rendable. So we put it out. Next to it, we use a lot of AI for years. So now the impact will come. We will reduce by 10%. But for me, as employers, it's the people who are overworking, who are passionate, that is bringing Unilever a bigger company. I said as well, if you're going to reduce it by 10%, and if it happens in your team, you will also see the impact of the service rate. And so I said, make the employees happy, that will result you to a better leadership. So sometimes outcome-oriented is not the best way.
I think the point is what is outcome, right? So where we are thinking of what specific outcome.
Yeah.
So
as
when you're
already, the result will not be good.
It does. And that's the thing. So outcome is by doing data over a period. So what does the data tell us? And you say, well, you're only looking at one part of the data, but what about all this other data? So that will be what is outcome oriented.
I think that the price per shares, it went up. So
yeah, yeah. That one out. What about the rest of the outcome? Yeah. So employee satisfaction.
It all comes to the priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you in sales, if you put results, then maybe you might create a very toxic work culture, but might work better for your shareholders. So it depends on long-term or short-term goals.
Yeah. So how does what does it mean? So I think this is a very good discussion. So what does it mean outcome in such an environment?
For me, and as a leader, is sustainable in the work we are doing and growing with responsibility.
Okay.
Of course, financial sides of the things are extremely important and you cannot go forward without thinking them. But setting realistic goals and working towards that collaboratively with a positive culture would benefit you more.
Well done. So that's the discussion of what is outcome. So being a sustainable organization, that can be an outcome. So what does it mean? And then what Agile leadership would do is work toward that outcome, focus on what the data tell us instead of just what we hear around, and focus on the needs of the customer. We're going to change to the next one.
Oh, yeah, what I wanted to say, because we're talking about outcomes, right? I think that's really where the vision comes in.
Yes.
Really the long-term versus the short-term outcome,
Yes.
with the sales team that's maybe more focused on their quarterly targets, whereas the business leader should be focused on, okay, how do we keep developing these relationships over many years? How do we stay economically viable, but still keep our employees engaged and all that kind of stuff to bring that all together?
And that's, by the way, one of the functions of these leaders, especially more senior leaders, how to basically merge these competitive targets of the teams. That's where their input to help them not to fight each other.
Let's go to the next one, which is bias towards action. I see that we are missing people in the circle, so we need 2 more people to come. If you want to stay, you can stay. We need 2 more people to come. Thank you. Okay, bias toward action. What does it mean?
Well, sometimes you plan to start, and then you start planning, and then you keep on planning, and then you're tired by the end of the planning. So then you don't work your plan.
You don't even start.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it means.
Okay, and so that is what it means with not bias for action. And when you are a bias for action leader, what do you do then?
Then you start testing, and you work from data that you got. So you always keeping the loop of trial and error or testing, I don't know. That's just an idea that I'm bringing to the circle.
It's about getting to a minimum viable product as soon as possible to have something to show. Be like, okay, now we have the thing here. What are the pros and cons of the thing, and how we can rebuild on that, instead of like just going into the analysis, which you elaborated on well, and going to paralysis by analysis and not actually getting to do something.
Yeah, I also think about the culture within the company. You should encourage your people to actually try and to make mistakes and to ask for feedback, because if you have a leader, like, you cannot make mistakes, you will never show your products because you'll feel like, it's not good enough. I will wait 2 weeks longer.
Exactly.
So leaders are really important for this to encourage your people.
It's often about fear of failure, and often action is also can be often related to the fear of change. So you need to step up and take an action, and change is naturally, we are always afraid of changing. So that could be also.
So I think this is we are going to very interesting path. So when you're saying I'm planning, never starting, in which environment would you act in that way? When would you behave in that way? That you plan, but you never start.
Maybe it's unsafe.
Yeah, exactly. And say that you're afraid it's not good enough because you want to show off that it's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also lack of alignment, clarity on because
should I go?
Yeah, if it's not extremely clear the vision, then you feel like, okay, I'm planning, but staying in the planning phase is okay. Once you actually have to take an action, then you're taking a risk for the whole organization. And if it's not clear that we are willing to take that risk and and therefore pay for what is needed, then obviously you don't want to take the action.
Yeah, and you're trying to obsessively control everything. You're trying to just control everything to not fail, and that constrains your creativity and getting forward anyways.
Consultancies tend to be very perfect. So that actually strains from really signifiers talking to the clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also the risk management part of the job. So if you are doing like an investment for a very detailed sectional part, you cannot take those risks. But if you are working in a more agile product development kind of role, maybe you can take the risks and just start doing something. And that's the role as a leader to decide at which points to go have a bias towards action, and sometimes just go for it.
I think that links back to what you were saying on breaking the piece into small pieces, right? So you said break it down. So you spoke about minimum viable product. I'm not sure if everyone knows what that means. So it's about a product that you can, it's the minimum, that's the minimum requirement. Maybe you want to explain it. Minimum requirement, so you can list test it, right?
Yeah, something workable.
Something workable. Yeah. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? It doesn't need to be perfect, but something you can work. So try to think that what would be the difference, right? So if you are in an environment where you need to have it perfect 100%, then you're always planning. Now let's go back to that environment where you do feel safe, but you do feel safe to fail, and you come with that mindset. I just need to build a minimum viable product. So how does the bias towards action differ? That how does it feel at this time when you know, okay, I just need this new product? What will be the ticket for you, so much?
But for me, it's not the manager, but I think we have a lot of innovative projects every year, again and again. And for me, I said, why do we need it? The current one is perfect. The new one, it's always testing, and they launch it when it's not perfect, because then we learn and we test again. I said, this is not efficient. Like we are the most innovative one, but it's, I think, a loss of money and time. If something's working perfectly, why change?
It's exactly bias towards action. That's what I would call bias towards action, because you're like, yeah, why are you keep changing? We are good where we are. And that's exactly the fear of failing and losing money. And that's exactly what I would call bias towards action.
And I think that's also the tension that always exists between efficiency and optimizing for a certain solution versus the got distracted. Optimizing for a certain solution versus the staying agile and changing, adjusting to the current environment. And for that, you need to fail every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to come?
I swear.
Get on you.
Let's go back to the last one. It's people. Some 6 new people, 2 people, 2 more people. Fun. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to talk about alignment and empowerment. So have a look at it. What does it mean?
As a manager, to set the goal on the horizon and trust your team, like the outcome will be best possible.
Empower the best people for getting the best work done.
I think what you said, trust. That's sometimes the vocabulary you have, but then it's you can know it all, you can know it better, or you know it better than the people. But do you trust them to show you and shut up your mouth? Not so that they don't speak, right? Or create a platform for them where they can speak. Like we're talking about these platform for everybody to speak up. Then we can start trusting people more. Create better solutions than me. So.
But starting with a trust, and later if something breaks down, taking the trust back, like not trusting down, I think that would be better, because then it will give them a feeling that they always need to gain your trust, and they're like jumping towards that acknowledgement. But starting to trusting the people, and then later on, if they fail, correcting them might be easier solution.
But the word correcting resonates with me because it contradicts for me on the agile part. Why do you use the term correcting?
If there is a problem, like a very obvious mistake, after you show the trust, then you have to maybe say them, all right, this is the process overview. I see that there is a very obvious mistake on the workflow, and we need to change it. There are sometimes things happening like that. Of course, there are flexible situations, which there's no wrong or right, but there are sometimes situations like in auditing, for example, there are right and wrong.
Well, for me, it would be more a learning opportunity than a mistake.
Yeah, of course, there are always a learning opportunity, but if it is against the law, for example, there's a mistake.
I think encouraging people to make mistakes, something I experienced in the past, we were encouraged to make mistakes, stay in the lead, try it, mistakes, learn from it, try not to make it twice. I think that's empowering people a lot. And very often when you do this, you don't even need to correct them in the end because they fail and they see themselves. They also feel empowered because you can want to correct their mistake and get better and prove to you next time that they can do better.
Also prove to themselves, not prove to me.
I think a general information we're deviating towards continuous learning attitude from this.
When it comes to empowerment, maybe it was a bit of a cultural thing, but when I had an interview with the one who will be my first foreign manager, so he was British, and there was a question he asked during the interview that made me kind of stumble. The question was, how can I support you? And I didn't expect, I was expecting the opposite, that he would expect me to tell him how I'm going to support him. And that's the part of empowerment, basically, when the leader actually searches a way to empower.
Let's go to the path. I really like this. So how do you sound? What do you say? Let's first, what do you say when you are a leader that is focused on this? How can I support you? That's one question. What else do you say?
What else do you need?
What do you need from me? No.
My job is to make your job easier.
What else?
How would you do this?
How would you do this? Exactly. What would you do then? Yeah. When you are such a leader, what would you do? How would you behave? You said create a platform. How does it look like? What is what you say? What do you do actually? You create a platform. Shut up. Sometimes so it's like just don't say. You shut up. What else do you do when you are leader focusing on this?
Don't be so eager.
Tell me more. What does it mean? Don't be so eager.
Don't be proactive. Just wait until I tell you something.
Sometimes something create space. Sometimes create space.
But actually, adding to the shut up part, there was this idea that if a manager, before discussing something, says, "Well, I think it looks like this," even if they opened the floor for everyone afterwards, and the leader said their word. So no matter how safe the environment is, there will be this bias to kind of accommodate to what the leader already said.
Yeah. So actually silence will tell you so much. So when you have to make a decision and no one comes up with an opinion, there are two possibilities. They either don't even understand what you're talking about, or they are don't even feel safe to say, what's your opinion? So that silence tells you a lot of information. Yeah. And that don't say, that also means just listen to understand. Sometimes it's a question of really not listen to respond, don't respond, just listen to understand.
And what's the motivation if they give up an opinion and let's say they say something that's very wrong in your opinion? It's not about saying, this is wrong. It's trying to understand the motivation behind it. Maybe together you're actually going to get something really great out of that previously wrong. It's giving them the chance to also explain their process, their thing. So, yeah.
And that is why actually introverts can be better leaders, because they more tend to listen rather than evoke their opinion over and over.
Yep. Okay. Well done, well done. How did this exercise feel?
Well,
Very comfortable, maybe
I was fully literally.
Well, thank you for the input. I really said that. That's fine. Normally it's 5 o'clock, so I have 10 minutes. Like, why my fault? Yes.
Can you elaborate on why the inner and the outer circle? What is the meaning of that, and how does it help the conversation?
So the idea is actually the setup is not really good. So normally you have a circle, and the idea is you can use this method, especially when you see that there are discussions. So the outer circle can listen, and you can also use it when there's a conflict or something, and then you can use the outer circle as an observer as well. So they can say, okay, this is the dynamics I observed, this is what I observed that is going on, and the inner circle can be much more active in participating. While maybe in a very big group, people will be less open to get into the conversation, while when a smaller group, they can get much faster and disagreeing or into a dialogue. And but you don't exclude the rest in having the opportunity to jump in. So that's when you use this method.
But in reality, you start with 6 and then you end with 10. It's not that people are leaving, right? Or do you really?
Method, people are leaving. In this actual method, the idea is that you always have this amount.
Have you used this in the company?
Yeah. Different setups. Then normally, there are two ways. There are two ways you can use this method. One is that no one is entering, no one is leaving. So you keep that circle. And then at the end, the outer circle is just observer, and then that's it. Or the open circle that we did, that you can jump in and jump out. So there, as far as I know, there are these two versions. There might be another one, a different one that you make the bigger, this fishbowl. The idea is that it stays small. That's a objective. But this is an interesting question, and I think you were also thinking of, also as a leader, try to think, what is the platform for the objective I want to get out from, right? So if I want all voices to be heard, okay, what different ways are there? Create the platform. How often I'm saying, meetings where there's a decision that needs to be made, the leader just spends, meeting is 1 hour, the leader just spends, 50 minutes talking themselves about the whole situation, and the last 5 or 10 minutes, they say, okay, so this is the decision. Everyone agreeing, right? Who's going to start a discussion when it's just 5 minutes? So if you're looking for discern, if you're looking for different opinions, then think of another method. That's not going to give you different opinions. No one is going to come up with something else. So think of another method. Think of post-its. Think of this kind of role play, which you assign people different roles. So you are the customer, you are, whatever. So give them different roles. So from the role, they come up with a different opinion. Give them time to think. So design for what you're trying to get. Now, what we know on behavior is that if we want to change our behavior, what we know is that we actually start by making a plan, normally. Then you go to make it visible and social. So you share it with people. Hey, this is what I'm trying to change. Share with people. Then you become accountable. So you maybe get a peer or someone who you trust, that can just follow up on you, like, hey, how are you going, right? And they can keep track. And make it positive, make it meaningful. So what does it mean if I don't make it? If I don't do what I have to? So if you are thinking of becoming an agile leader, trying to improve your leadership style, I'll recommend you think of this. And I'm gonna give you right now 3 minutes to look at these 6 behaviors, decide these 3 minutes, which is the most relevant for you right now, and write down whatever you want, phone, paper, whatever you like. What will be the one thing you will do tomorrow to start this plan? So, take literally 3 minutes for that. That's reflection. Write it down. What is your priority? Okay, now I hope you can keep working on this. There's something you can develop your plan, remember, find someone to make it social, think how you have a peer accountability partner for your plan as well. Think of a plan. And this was it for today. Feel free to contact me. I'll be back in 10 days, hopefully it's full. Feel free to get in contact, whatever I want to discuss. Also, get to the questions I didn't manage to get. Sorry about that. And it would be nice if you give me some feedback. As an agile leader, I like to experiment. So the game we have done, it was the first time I've done it like this. So I like to get feedback to learn and adjust for my next session. So that would be very nice. Great. Things from time ago.
Yeah, see. Yeah, I just have a few more things to share before we go to the next session. All of you stuck QR code or check slides.
Yeah.
Yeah, another QR code link coming up. Thank you again. So coming right up, coffee break and Maria's Cantina. So at the big hole in the ground floor, it's going to be colleagues to lead you there as well. This 15 minutes of coffee and tea before we go into the art of networking. Very interesting workshop from one of our wonderful RSM faculty. It's going to be quite interactive. I know it's been a long days of this, 2 sessions, one after the other, but it's going to be a night and hopefully interesting to give you some tools about how to make the most of networking. Meta will tell you a bit more about it before we go into the session itself. And after that, we're gonna have a walking dinner and drinks where you can practice all the skills and tools from the session before. And then we're closing the event at 8. It's a game at 9. So for those that are gonna watch, hopefully we can close on time.
Our reception staff and the cantina staff also wants to watch the game.
Exactly. So everyone is
Yeah.
And the last thing, so another QR code. We've made a page with all the different career resources that we have here that are sent for our alumni. So feel free to scan it and take a look at what they are. We have mentoring. We're also trying to build a library of the different resources. For example, the recording of this session that we're doing, as well as the online session that we've done during this past 4 weeks. Yeah, so please do check it out. And you're probably gonna also receive an email with the link as well. So you can see that. But that's that. So feel free to make your way to Maria's now for some coffee, and then we'll start at 5:30 for the next session.